shocking to say the least. But what it has been is a Nazareth 47-10 victory over the Easton Red Rovers. We know we've enjoyed bringing it to you. Scott Spielman has been our director. We thank him and the whole gang for working as hard as they always do. We thank Scott Barr for his expert analysis. So for everybody, I'm Gary Laubach. We'll see you next time right here on Cable 4 Sports. High School in Northampton, Pennsylvania. Twin County Cable 4 Sports presents the best in high school wrestling. Tonight's matchup, a Colonial League versus the East Penn Conference, and perhaps the best in both. We've got the Nazareth Blue Eagles. They come into this match with a 6-2 record under head coach Ray Nunamaker, who just celebrated his 300th win this past week. They will take on the Northampton Concrete Kids. The kids are coached by Don Roan, and they are 9-0, and they are doing extremely well so far this season. And Scott, some say perhaps one of the best teams in the state.
This could be their best team ever, and definitely one of the best teams in the state. The latest ranking has them at number 2, and that's only behind North Allegheny, who is ranked currently number 2 in the country.
And by the way, I'm Gary Laubach, and the fellow with a little egg on his face is Scott Barr. Scott, we had Northampton against Easton last week, and obviously things did not turn out as you had predicted, and much to the chagrin of some of our Northampton fans. So tonight, are you a little bit more pensive about making any predictions?
You say much to the chagrin of the Northampton fans, but they won. They loved it. I'll never pick against Brian Chamberlain again. I'll make that. And I hadn't seen Northampton prior to that until last week's match. They look very, very tough. They're aggressive, they're fast, and they're very much in shape.
This is one of the few sports where being the home team is a disadvantage to you, and that may very well play big tonight for Nazareth's Ray Nunamaker.
Oh, it absolutely will. We spoke to Ray before the match, and there's some things that'll happen in the last 3 weights of the match. He'll just wait to see who Northampton sends out before he decides who he can send out. The home team must send out a wrestler first. The visiting team can then counter with any wrestler. Ray weighed in 3 different guys at 171. Donnie Roan weighed in 2 guys at 171. So a lot of switching could take place, but Donnie has to make the first move, and Ray can counter.
In fact, as we reflect back a little bit on the East Northampton match last week, it may very well have been a couple of Don Roan switches that won the match.
He made the switches at the Easton match before the match ever took place. He didn't make any switches during the match that really mattered. He dropped Mike Laurie down a weight, bumped Steve Moyer up a weight, and that did determine, in great part, the outcome of that match.
All right, let's take a look at our matchups tonight. We've got 13 bouts coming your way. At 103 pounds, we start off with a good one. Ryan Nunamaker, Ray's son, 10-5 against Chad Billy. And, of course, Billy will be heavily favored, as many of the Northampton kids will be in the first 5 weights. They are just outstanding early on.
They've got a real good first 5 weights. Nazareth probably the only team in the area that could break through in the first 5. I think Ryan Nunamaker's got a good shot at Chad Billy. Chad Billy, a very physical wrestler, but I think he'll be up against a real good challenge in Ryan Nunamaker, who has looked good all year. Nunamaker just a freshman. At
112, we go to Brad Sillenperry, 10-2 on the year against Ryan Joachim, and he's 16-0, but that answers one of the big questions of the fans coming in, whether Brad would go down to 112, and he certainly is there.
He has, and on Wednesday night, it surprised me a little bit. He weighed about 118 pounds just 3 nights ago. He's lost 6 pounds in the last 3 nights, has a bad left shoulder. I'm going to take Mike Recker tonight over Brad Sillenperry.
Okay, we've got at 119, we got sophomore Todd Colino, who is kind of being thrown to the wolves as Mike Recker comes in at 15-1. And I know you meant Ryan Joachim over Brad Sillenperry.
Joachim over Sillenperry, and at 19, Colino absolutely being thrown to the wolves. Recker will pick up 6 points here.
You know, you say Joachim, but he has never beaten Sillenperry, has he?
He went 0-3 against Sillenperry last year, decisively 3 times. But again, you have those 2 factors. Sillenperry down the weight the first time all year. And also, he has that bad left shoulder he's just recuperating from.
All right, we move on to the next 3 weights. At 125 pounds, Mike Hersig at 12-3 against who is just an outstanding and extremely tough wrestler, Don Saranovsky. And again, this could be a big matchup. This will
be the most entertaining matchup of the evening. Both of them have beaten Dave Foley of Freedom, 2-time state champ this year. Mike Hersig went 18-16 with Foley. Saranovsky went 6-4. That'll be a great matchup. That is another place where Nazareth could break through in the first 5 weights. If they win 2 of the first 5 weights, they will win this match. Well, we go to 130 pounds, and Mike Jaskowicz at 6-4, but he's taking on a young man who is now ranked number 2 in the state at his weight, and that's junior Mike Laurie at 13-2. Mike Laurie has looked good all year, and it remains to be seen how good Mike Jaskowicz can be. I think Mike Laurie will win this bout. We move on to the next page.
135 pounds, Preston Moritz will take on Stevie Moyer. And now Nazareth starts to get very strong.
Nazareth will be very strong in the next 4 weights. They've got to pick up about 20 points in the next 4 weights to have a shot at this match.
Another good wrestler for the Blue Eagles, of course, has been sophomore Dan Matson. 13-2. His competition has been outstanding, and yet he has done extremely well. I'll take on senior Alan Hartzell, but again, Nazareth favored here.
Matson just a sophomore, but I've got him favored for a fall here, and he's looked good all year. He is a pinner. He could win this by fall.
145 pounds, again, the son's coach, the coach's son, Ross Nunamaker at 12-3-1, taking on Rob Davies, and again, Nazareth favored.
Absolutely favored in this match. I have Nunamaker favored for bonus points, and bonus points, again, must be picked up in these middle 4 weights by any team that hopes to beat Northampton.
And if you want any indication of how crazy it might be here tonight, the noise you hear is for a JV match that's going on right now. Let's move on to the next page. We go to 152 pounds, and here perhaps Nazareth's best, Mike Miller at 14-1, will take on Kurt Dixon. And again, Kurt Dixon will be a decided underdog.
Mike Miller, absolutely the best wrestler that Nazareth has had this year. He is also a pinner. He is also favored to pin whoever he wrestles. It can be a number of different wrestlers, but pick him for a fall in this weight.
Perhaps the MVP last week was Brian Chamberlain, who just had an outstanding match against Easton. He takes on John Scheimer, and Brian Chamberlain, I would think, would come in as the favorite tonight.
Absolutely comes in as the favorite. I will never pick against Brian Chamberlain again. He completely outclassed a first-class wrestler last week in Tony Rizzolino. I pick him this week to win a decision. John Scheimer has bad ribs, has been recuperating from them, isn't back to full form. I do think Chamberlain will win this match.
We move on to the last 3, and Scott, our page here may be very well meaningless because all kinds of movement could happen here by the Nazareth wrestlers.
In fact, this is what will happen. These matchups will happen if the match is out of hand in Nazareth's favor. That will not happen. I believe it'll come down to these last 3. I believe that Kevin Smith will get a fall over somebody else, not McIntyre or not Kapanka, as Ray Nunamaker can avoid Smith. Throw in another wrestler, Greg Dieter, he has mentioned. If that happens, Kapanka will wrestle Manning, and Renock will wrestle McIntyre. It'll come down to those last 3 weight classes. I think we'll see it happen that way. I think Renock can beat McIntyre. I think Kapanka can beat Manning. And I think Kevin Smith will pick up 6 points.
With all of that, we're going to have, obviously, an outstanding night of wrestling. This place is a complete sellout. They have locked the doors. There's no room for any cars out in the parking lot, and there's certainly no room for any more humans to get in here and watch this wrestling match tonight. You know, it's big. We're going to have 3 referees, so they don't want to put it all on the shoulders of one guy. I kind of dread asking you this, but who do you think might win it?
I'm going to make a prediction quietly because of the side of the gym we're on. The way I have it figured is 27-26 Northampton. That figures with Sill & Perry losing, remember. Also figures with Nazareth only winning 1 of the first 5 weights. Northampton could easily win all of the first 5 weights and win by more than 1. I have 27-26, but the score is basically meaningless. It's going to be a real good match. And
I will venture to tell you that last week Scott Barr's opinion was meaningless. We've got great wrestling coming up your way right after we take time out for this message. You stay with us.
If your bathroom looks like, and you like it to look like, let Bathroom Magic solve your tub and tile problems for a small fraction of the price of a new bathroom and none of the mess. Bathroom Magic will resurface your stained, chipped bathroom and make it a place of beauty in any color. Bathroom Magic, our finish is the beginning of your new bathroom. For bathroom resurfacing and remodeling, call Bathroom Magic at 434-9918. That's Bathroom Magic, 434-9918.
It's no big deal. It's a pain.
No, Carrie. It's called a Master Care car service.
Brakes, alignments, tune-ups.
The works. It's no big deal.
And a 6-month or 6,000-mile warranty. Covers parts, labor, wherever they do Master Care service. Sounds right, this Master Care.
So right that fixing your car is no big deal.
Master Care Car Service by Firestone.
We are back. The anticipation is tremendous here in the gymnasium. About 1,450 people have packed themselves here into the Concrete Kid Gym. We have 3 officials tonight, Bobby Coletta, Gene Wass, and Bob Welty. And Scott, already maybe you should explain how the officials will work.
We're going to have one guy that is in charge of the match. At 103 pounds, it'll be Bob Coletta. The other two can intervene if they feel a call has been miscalled. And they can overrule that official. The official in the center will have control of the bout, but he may be overruled on any occasion.
Ryan Nunamaker of Nazareth is out there, a freshman 10-5-1, taking on Chad Billy, a sophomore 14-1 in the state rankings that have been made available. Chad Billy is ranked 5th in the state at the moment.
Good defense by Ryan Nunamaker there, as he appeared to be taken down, but immediately came to his feet. He was not on the mat and controlled by Billy. Billy, remember, with a big fall over Easton last week with a great double trouble half Nelson. We'll look for that if Ryan Nunamaker happens to throw a whizzer as Billy shoots in on a single leg.
Chad got that fall at 1 minute and 28 seconds last week against Easton. And while we're talking about East Penn Conference Wrestling, Scott, a rather interesting development this afternoon. Parkland-Phillipsburg. Phillipsburg won the match, but it was rather close.
John Tagas of Parkland, never sure which Parkland team is going to show up for any given match. Parkland beaten by Liberty earlier this year, and now they take Peaburg right down to the wire. Greg Troxel had to pull it out at heavyweight for the Liners with a fall. They were trailing, actually, going into the heavyweight match. So that really sets up the end of the season here.
I believe the final score was 31-28.
31-27, I believe. Parkland leading 27-25 going into heavyweight.
Final 45 seconds now in the first period. And if you are watching in black and white, we're going to have trouble helping you, as there you see a takedown by Chad Billy. So now maybe you can distinguish between the blue uniform and the black uniform. Chad Billy will be on top for Northampton. On the bottom will be Ryan Nunamaker. Nunamaker now trails 2-0.
This one of the pivotal bouts already. I feel Nazareth has to break through in this first 5 somewhere to have a chance at winning. This one of their best chances to do that. Northampton has a wrestler in the top 5 in the state with those rankings in the first 5 weight classes. Nazareth has its work cut out to break through it all.
In the team rankings, the state rankings that have been published in the Wrestling Roundup, Northampton is listed as 2nd in the state. Nazareth listed 5th. Easton is listed as 6th.
And I like to see those rankings in wrestling. Easton with 3 losses this year. What other sport but wrestling can you be ranked that highly in the state with 3 losses? They really recognize quality of competition.
The end of one period, 103 pounds. It's Chad Billy with a takedown. He leads it 2-0 over Ryan Nunamaker. Billy deferred his choice. Nunamaker will take the defensive position. And immediately is allowed up. Nunamaker now trails 2-1.
Billy very confident on his feet. He has looked good. He's been in on Nunamaker deep on 2 occasions, converted one of those. The other came off the mat.
Off the mat they go. We want to thank Lou Wolf for all of his assistance. Not an easy job tonight for the AD here at Northampton, as he's got a huge crowd that was here at 6:15 tonight. Nazareth dominated the JV contest. And Scott, we were kidding, but I don't think it's that much of a joke. The Nazareth JV team may very well be the 2nd best team in the Colonial League.
They're very well coached, obviously, and they have so many programs feeding in that are just top quality programs. These two, Nazareth and Northampton, probably the 2 best programs as a whole in the area. They've got real good feeder systems all lined up, and I've always said you can't build from the top down. You've got to start at that junior high and midget level and bring those kids in.
And as strong as these 2 teams are this year, they very well may be just as strong next year. Nazareth thinking they may be even stronger next season. 2-1 is the score. Billy on top.
They don't lose very many wrestlers next year, so they will certainly be ranked among the top 5 in the state again. And some of their middle-of-the-road wrestlers will be back, and they'll be performing even better next year. So, yes, I think Nazareth will be stronger next year. Ryan Nunamaker backing off an awful lot. I think he may get hit for stalling if they remain on their feet. Chad Billy is forcing the issue. If he continues to charge, Nunamaker now with a nice duck under, but fails to convert.
Down to 45 seconds now in the 2nd period. Score remains 2-1. Stalling called against Nunamaker. That's a caution for stalling. No point awarded.
First one just a warning. He gets that one warning. There's the takedown for Billy. He is behind, but he's over top. No takedown signaled yet. Nunamaker ties up the leg. Still no takedown. The mat judges are conferring among themselves. I think they're going to overrule Bobby Coletta if they go off the mat here with no takedown.
It'll be interesting to see what the call is.
Bob Coletta has said no takedown with Ryan Nunamaker tying up the leg. The question is Chad Billy in control? That's the end of the period.
They want to give him.
There it is.
Takedown awarded to Chad Billy. And Scott, immediately we see the importance of 3 officials.
That makes the call easy for Bob Coletta. He goes over there, and now he's overruled 2-1. The 3 top officials in the district are here, all conferring. 2 said yes, it's a takedown. I agree with that.
Gene Wass over on the Nazareth side. Got an opportunity to discuss it with Ray Nunamaker. Ray sits down. 4-1. Chad Billy on top as we start the 3rd period. What it did do, it immediately made the officials enemies of the fans.
There's a caution against Chad Billy for, I believe, a false start. So now Billy with a caution, Nunamaker with a warning for stalling. One more of either of those will be a point for the opponent.
What you do have tonight are 3 very decisive officials. They make their calls smartly, and they're very sharp with the whistle, and no hesitation on the part of the 2 mat judges to award that takedown to Chad Billy.
Absolutely, and that's one thing that sets District 11 officials apart from every other official in the state, is the District 11 officials are not afraid to reverse a call because of the mat judges. It's not a matter of pride for them. They want to get the right call made, and when you go to regionals and you go to states, that doesn't happen. District 11 fans fully appreciate how good the officiating is here when they go outside the district.
Minute and 8 seconds to go. Our first match of the night, Nunamaker against Billy. Billy leads at 4-1.
Nunamaker far too far outside, getting absolutely no penetration, going immediately to his knees. Billy will try for a throw by here, circle one way and throw the other, but Nunamaker has that arm. He'll maintain control. Nunamaker completely defensive here. He has not made good penetration on his feet.
Nunamaker a little slow to get back into the center of the mat. Bobby Coletta says, "Are you all right?" And I think he said, "I am not." So Ryan will go over and talk to Dad. We do want to remind you we've got more wrestling coming your way. Next Thursday night, we will have Northampton against Liberty. And it's a good time for us to make our big announcement. We will have the District 11 wrestling for you once again. That's not anything new. We've done it, I guess about the last 5 or 6 years. But we will have them live and in color coming your way from Bethlehem Memorial, Liberty Memorial Gymnasium, live on Saturday night, March 4th. The starting time at the moment is up in the air. Probably be 7:30 or 8 o'clock, somewhere around there.
Got to figure it to be about 8 o'clock, although you know districts as well as I, Gary. It'll start late.
30 seconds to wrestle.
That's got to be 2. That's got to be 2 right there. And now they can go out of bounds with the 2-point takedown. 6-1, Billy leads. 23 seconds to go. Northampton with a big, big win in this opening bout.
Nunamaker has to be careful now to avoid a 3-point maneuver by Billy. And lose by a major decision.
Again, this is the only spot in the first 5 that Northampton is slightly vulnerable. They'll just ride this one out and put Northampton on top very quickly, and if all goes according to form, for a good while.
It will be Northampton's Chad Billy, who will win at 103 pounds by a 6-1 score. Northampton goes up on top on the team score, 3-0. We move to 112 pounds, and this should be exciting for the Blue Eagles. A junior, 11-2 on the year, Brad Sillimperi. For Northampton, Ryan Joachim, a junior, 16-0. Joachim currently ranked 3rd in the state. But remember that Brad Sillimperi has been wrestling at 119 all year, and Brad at 119 is ranked 4th in the state.
112 to 119, the absolute 2 toughest weights in this district, maybe in the entire state. I'm very impressed with the way Ryan Joachim has filled out since last year. Last year, a natural 98-pounder. Now he is all of 112 pounds, and all solid 112 pounds. Has already beaten Pat Tachi this year. And now is in deep on a single on Brad Sillimperi.
Scott, is it much more important for a Nazareth win here?
Absolutely. Nazareth has to get back on the board. They've got to figure to win one of the first 5 to have any shot at this meet. And they only have one other chance to do it. They had 3 reasonable chances for upsets. One is already gone. This is another, and 125, Don Cernofsky and Mike Hersing is a possibility for another. So as we keep going down the list, it looks slimmer and slimmer.
Bob Welty is the official. You bring up Don, well, off the mat they go. I was going to say you bring up Don Cernofsky's name, and I know the 2 of you constantly kid one another about his bout of the night. And I know you were kind of joking with one another again tonight.
Yeah, Don Cernofsky and I go back and forth and back and forth. He's dying to be on that preseason team. We don't have it in the graphics tonight, but he is not on that preseason team. I promised him that if he gets that gold medal at districts, we'll interview him live and in color. He can put the gold medal right in my face, and I do wish him all the luck in the world there. He's a heck of a kid, and boy, I'll tell you, one of the toughest wrestlers we have in the district, one of the most physical wrestlers, and absolutely one of the most talented.
40 seconds to wrestle now in the first period. This has been just a good defensive battle here by these 2 young men.
Has been good defensively, but we've seen Joachim in on Sillimperi, and we haven't seen Sillimperi in on Joachim. Again, Sillimperi has dropped weight this week. Since Wednesday has dropped a good portion of weight. Yet to be seen whether he can handle the weight loss. I think as time goes on, he'll be much stronger at 112 than he was at 119. But the first bout there is always the toughest. Nice barrel roll attempt by Sillimperi. Very quick duck.
Scott knows a great deal about Brad's weight because you happened to officiate the Bangor Nazareth wrestling match on Wednesday night, was it?
Wednesday night when Sillimperi weighed in at about 118 pounds, and he had to come in tonight at 112. He was right on the weight. Nice suck under, can't convert at the buzzer.
No score as the takedown occurred after the horn. And we want to mention again and congratulate Ray Nunamaker for his 300th victory on Wednesday night. But even he said that what was utmost in his mind that night was Northampton. Don Roan screaming instructions from our left. Intently watching the 112-pound bout. No score. There you get a look at Coach Ray Nunamaker. Has never had a losing season for the Blue Eagles. And the way things look, he isn't going to have one.
Boy, if that's not a game face, Gary, there's not one in the gym tonight. Ray upset with that call. Brad Sillimperi called for stalling. He's blocking inside, constantly blocking with a forearm. Bob Welty telling him exactly that right now.
There you get a look at a very serious and pensive Don Roan. Scott, that stalling warning may prove to be critical in this contest. 1 point may be the difference.
It looks like 1 point will decide this. Sillenperry deferred his choice. He'll take bottom in the last period. A very good escape artist. Has a great stand-up, one of the quickest you'll ever see. Can escape from almost anybody. But if he escapes and plans to do the same thing the whole third period, he'll get warned again.
As is often the case with two outstanding wrestlers, not too many chances are taken.
There is an awful lot of wrestling going on. Both wrestlers anticipating each other very well. Remember, they wrestled each other 3 times last year alone. With Sillenperry winning every matchup. Tough to beat any wrestler 3 times in a row, and tougher yet, I would imagine, to beat him 4.
Brad checks the scoreboard. The goose eggs are up there. He checks the clock. 50 seconds to go. Second period.
He's got to make it a decent attempt at a shot. There's a good duck under. He's going to get behind Joachim. He's got the takedown. Nice duck under Brad Sillenperry.
Boy, that was textbook.
That was perfect. He anticipated that arm coming up. Joachim had been bringing that arm up, now going for a tight waist tilt. Has a cross body ride, and he's got 27 seconds to ride out this period.
And as Scott mentioned, he will have the advantage of being on the bottom to start period 3. Potentially dangerous hold is called. Big hand for Ryan Joachim from the Northampton side of the gymnasium as he heads back into the center of the mat.
Boy, that was a state-class takedown right there. That's what's made Brad Sillenperry a state champion. If he can hit that takedown on a wrestler of the ability of Ryan Joachim, and it wasn't even close. Joachim had no chance to defend against that. It was so quick.
He's coming out.
Sillenperry now has Joachim in some back trouble. Very close. 9 seconds. It's a fall. It's a fall for Brad Sillenperry.
The place goes absolutely crazy. The fall comes at 3 minutes and 53 seconds. The winner, Brad Sillenperry. The team score, Nazareth 6, Northampton 3. We move to 119 pounds. For Nazareth, Todd Colino, a sophomore, 1-0 on the year against Mike Recker, a senior, 16-1 on the year. And this one, by the book, we would assume would be a Northampton pin.
This should be a Northampton fall, but boy, oh boy, they couldn't have been counting on Ryan Joachim getting decked. That's got to fire up the Nazareth fans, got to fire up the Nazareth team. Brad Sillenperry got in there. Boy, what a killer instinct he had. Most wrestlers would be satisfied just to take the 3-point near fall in a match of that caliber. Brad Sillenperry went for it all, and he got it.
Scott, it appeared that Joachim was coming out, and all of a sudden he was stopped dead.
He just got it clamped on him. He got caught trying to elevate an arm, got caught on his back. Brad Sillenperry, very, very strong.
Mike Recker, an outstanding wrestler for Nazareth, ranked 5th in the state.
This is a spladle put on by Todd Colino, a dangerous hold. He gets a takedown on Mike Recker. Mike Recker lucky to get out of that without getting tossed to his back. But count the takedown for Todd Colino. That spladle has put a lot of good wrestlers into a pin.
Escape by Recker. He trails 2-1. The Nazareth fans went absolutely crazy on the Sillenperry pin, and they came close to that on the takedown by Colina. It just wasn't quite as sustained.
I'll tell you what, Gary, these fans on both sides are the most intelligent you'll ever find. They saw that move turning into a pin before Recker knew what was happening. The fans saw the spladle thrown, knew the Recker was in serious trouble. Recker was lucky to get his head out of there, out of the spladle, and give up only the 2. A lot of times that turns into 2 and 3 or 2 and a fall.
2-1 the score. Colina on top. Colino, only a sophomore. He is only 1-0 on the season.
But look who he's been behind all year. Brad Sillimperi. There's a nice butt drag for Mike Recker. He'll take 2 there.
No back points. Takedown by Recker at the end of the period puts him up by a 3-2 score. Nazareth would be ecstatic to get out of this weight class without giving up bonus points.
Boy, after 3 weights, even at 6 with Northampton, they've got to be happy with that if it can be sustained. Mike Recker still has 4 whole minutes. The clock has not been reset. Started just about a second late.
Scott, you have to figure that Colina has wrestled his toughest bouts all year long in the wrestling room.
Absolutely. He's been against Brad Sillimperi night after night after night. That's got to go a long way in a match against Recker.
Ray Nunamaker showing a move to Colina as he heads back towards the center of the bout. 6-3. Nazareth leads it in team points. Escape, Recker.
Recker trying to work up high and stay out of that splitter. Has the underhook on the far side. He wants to duck under that or use it for a throw. This is a move I'll bet that Todd Colino is very familiar with. It's the one Brad Sillimperi used against Joaquin. Obviously very well drilled. Maybe against a takedown dummy Todd Colino in the wrestling room. He's still got the underhook, and he can work that. Colino has to get himself out of there or get his head between the head of Recker and the far arm of Recker. Another stalemate.
Get her first look at Gene Wass tonight in the center of the mat. The third official working.
Here's the takedown again. Colino trying to work that spladle. He's got the leg again. They're on the edge of the mat. He won't be able to work it. Recker now goes for the double leg. He's got to get a head on the outside and now possibly go bear hug. Sit through with that. They're off the edge. Colino again very close to hooking up that spladle.
They remain neutral. Maybe we can get a shot of the scoreboard, Rick, on the corner of the mat a little bit later on when we get a break, and we'll talk to you a little bit about the uniqueness of the Northampton gym, because this one was designed for basketball. But Don Roan has created such a successful wrestling program that they have moved wrestling over here to accommodate all these people.
Nice drag by Mike Recker. He used that butt drag once again. He's built a 6-2 lead here. Now has a pipe wrench. He'll get back points out of this. Yes, he's got 2 back points coming. It looked like a quick couple of counts. It is given by Gene Wass.
The Blue Eagle fans not pleased with the 2-second count.
Each of those waves of the hand should be a second. I don't believe it was, but I think he was over for 2 seconds. I think Gene Wass started to count late, that's all. Now the score 8-2. Recker just 1 tilt away from a major decision difference in points.
Recker picks up 5 points in period number 2. He goes up by an 8-2 score. There you get a look at the scoreboard. It's off to the far right corner of the mat. And that's because the scoreboard that is in the gymnasium is one designed strictly for basketball. So they have to throw that one on the floor. The green numbers, although they look kind of white to you on your home screen, those numbers are the points for Northampton. The red numbers are the points for the Blue Eagles. The clock, of course, right at the very top.
Colino's got to get hand control while he's on bottom. He's getting that near arm barred up once again. Recker, very nice ride here. Staying very tight. Has the far wrist, has the near arm. He's got to watch how he works that, or Gene wants to make him let go. There's the escape for Colino. This is where Recker has had most of his trouble, is on their feet. He leads 8-3. He's got to look for a takedown and a tilt.
And again, Northampton looking for bonus points here at 119, and they do not have them yet. About 1,450 people have packed their way in here. They are standing 3 or 4 deep at the left side, entrance side of the gymnasium. The stands are absolutely packed.
Todd Colino doing an awful lot of blocking. Mike Recker using an underhook. Colino faking a shot there, but I think he may get warned for stalling. He's not doing a whole lot. He's waiting for that spladle combination. Recker using an arm drag, has the leg. He's going to reach over and get that near leg again for the spladle. He's under it. He's going to try and lock up with the hand now. Recker does the right thing, stays stretched out and goes to a double leg. Colino waits for the stalemate.
47 seconds to go in the third period. Match number 3 out of 13.
Recker had the throw and had to back out of it. He was a little off balance, wasn't ready to make the move.
There have been no warnings for stalling in this match. And that favors Colino, we would think, as he wants to avoid a 3-point move by Recker. He's got 18 seconds to hold him off.
Recker's strong enough to throw a pancake here and come up with a 4 or 5 point takedown. But he's got to get the 2 first. Colino blocking nicely, killing some time. Again, if he just gives up the takedown, it's no problem. There's only 5 seconds left. The Nazareth fans know it. Todd Colino has given Nazareth another bonus by only giving up a 3-point decision.
It is an 8-3 decision, but the only points scored in the third period were by Todd Colino on an escape. No bonus points for Northampton. And that has created a team score of 6-6 as we move to 125 pounds. For the Blue Eagles, Mike Hersick, a junior, 13-3. For Northampton, Don Saranovsky, a senior, 14-1-1. And oh my, this is another one of those top matchups of the evening.
We can just sit back and watch this one, Gary. Don Saranovsky, one of the most physical wrestlers you'll see. Mike Hersick, one of the slickest you'll see. Very smooth wrestler, Don Saranovsky. Anything but pretty when he wrestles. There's a takedown. He's got it. He's on the legs. It'll go out of bounds.
Good, strong physical move by Saranovsky. He looks confident as he comes back to the center of the mat.
He is confident enough to let Hersick to his feet and give up the point. Thinks he can dominate Hersick on his feet.
Saranovsky ranked 4th in the state. Dave Foley of Freedom ranked 6th.
And remember, Saranovsky has beaten Foley twice, and Hersick has also beaten Foley. Dave Foley giving away prestige points for district seeding like crazy. I think he's already got 4 losses this year. There's a nice barrel roll by Don Saranovsky. He's going to go for a tight waist tilt here. He's got to be careful that Hersick doesn't step over. Instead, lets him out for the 1. Now leads 4-2. Takes a bad shot, gets in a little trouble here with a front headlock to Mike Hersick. Hersick will try and block that arm and go for a butt drag on the near side. This will be a stalemate.
Bobby Coletta says just that as we'll move back into the center. The wrestlers are in neutral. 4-2. Saranovsky leads Hersick. .35 seconds to go in the first period.
Saranovsky has it in his mind that there's nobody in the state that weighs what he does that he can't beat. And I'll tell you what, one thing about Don Saranovsky, he's always out there giving 100%. He will not quit. There's a stalling call against Don Saranovsky for blocking inside, pulling his elbows together.
Again, that was a stalling warning against Saranovsky.
Hersick now in on a high single. And look at take it down here and give up back point. There's 2 back points. Hersick now leads 6-4. A big 4-point takedown for Mike Hersick. Saranovsky still has not gotten up. He may be hurt. He is hurt. He has not moved off his stomach. He will continue, I'm sure. But Mike Hersick caught him in a real nice high crotch. Cernofsky made the mistake of staying around the head. Hersig took immediate advantage of that, going to a half Nelson. Don Cernofsky now taking part of his 2-minute injury time.
Connie Rome, while watching over and very concerned about Don Cernofsky, checking with Bobby Coletta, Scott, about that stalling call. But maybe you want to analyze that one.
I think the stalling call by Bob Coletta is just a tone setter for this match. He knows that it probably won't make a difference. Don Cernofsky is not going to stall the rest of the match. Cernofsky was blocking inside, pulled both his elbows in a completely defensive maneuver. Don Cernofsky does not look in good shape.
And again, Scott, maybe we should discuss the injury clock now, because that's being held by Bob Welty. And this is not a blood injury where the clock does not run. It is running.
It is running for 2 minutes. If Don Cernofsky at the end of the 2 minutes cannot continue, it'll be a default. Something I don't believe we've ever had on Cable 4 Wrestling. He looks a little groggy. Could be playing possum here, laying back a little, and then come out like a house of fire.
I just don't picture Don Cernofsky doing that. He looks like he's ready to get back into the center of the mat, and I think that's exactly what he's going to do. He trails by a 6-4 score to Mike Hersig, as Hersig had put on that 4-point play with a takedown and the back point. And we will move to the second period. Cernofsky will take the down position.
Cernofsky dominating early in that period, but remember, Mike Hersig, a quality wrestler. If a mistake is made, Mike Hersig will put you in trouble. Now he is the one to allow Cernofsky the escape. Cernofsky goes to the front headlock. Will try and tie it up just as Hersig had.
6-5 score. Hersig leads.
There is a lot of wrestling going on in this bout. Hersig now with an arm drag of his own. They go off the mat. He had it hooked up and went the other way with it. Cernofsky shakes his head, covers his eyes once again. He may take more time. I didn't hear how much injury time was used. It seemed to be about a minute, possibly just a bit longer. But he can use that entire 2 minutes cumulative throughout the match.
But he can't use more than that.
Not more than that. Hersig now counters a lateral drop. Does not have the takedown. Now he does. And they go off the mat. Hersig leads 8-5. Bob Coletta said to Gene Wass and Bob Welty was it too. They both agreed. Cernofsky was on the mat and was being controlled, so it was too.
8-5, the escape allowed, 8-6. Approaching the 1-minute mark of the second period.
There's a lateral drop by Hersig. Cernofsky in trouble again. He'll give it 2 more back points. Just the 2 takedown, Bob Coletta says. No back points.
10-6, Hersig leads Cernofsky.
Cernofsky is not in this bout. He is groggy. He is not wrestling very well because of being slammed on his head earlier. Completely legal by Hersig. But Don Cernofsky definitely affected by whatever injury he had earlier in this bout.
Off the mat they go. 26 seconds to go, second period. The officials check on back points. They got a locked hands called. 1 point awarded to Cernofsky. Locked hands called against Hersig, and the judges did confer. The officials conferred.
I didn't see it, Gary, but I believe Hersig was locked around both legs as they went out of bounds, and that is locked hands. You may not lock your hands around the long axis of the body. That is a line drawn from the head to the navel, extending right down to the ground, meaning that if you lock around both legs, that is illegal, and the point was given up.
May prove to be a critical point. It's now 10-7. Cernofsky trails Hersig.
Cernofsky will get the reversal right here. There it is. He trails 10-9 now and is working on a tilt of his own. There's a Peterson. 2 points Hersig plus back point. A 5-point roll by Ken Hersig.
He'll get the reversal and 3 back points and will now lead 15-9.
Wow, what a move by Ken Hersig. He was in tilt trouble. Came over with a Peterson roll. the reversal, gets the 3 back points at the buzzer, leads 15-9. He has had Don Soronovsky in trouble 3 times in this bout.
But give Soronovsky credit. He bangs his hand, claps his hand, and says, well, let's go at it for 2 more minutes. 16-10 on the escape.
What a bout! Getting back to the lateral drop by Hersig, Gary. He had Soronovsky on his back probably for 2 seconds, but on a takedown, you are permitted 1 second of recovery time. So 1 second of that didn't count toward back points. It was 1 second recovery time, 1 second on his back. Therefore, only 1 second where near fall criteria was met, so no back points were given.
It's been a fabulous one at 125 pounds, 16-9, Hersig on top. Soronovsky hurt earlier in the first period. He has come back and, in fact, regained the lead, only to see it dissipate back to 16-9.
Gary, one thing lost in the confusion here, if Hersig gets a takedown, he's got major decision points. He could pick up bonus points against Don Soronovsky. Who would have figured Don Soronovsky and
But there's a takedown for
both giving up bonus points, but Soronovsky now with a takedown of his own. He's got to turn Hersig a couple of times. If Hersig hits that Peterson again, he could pick up some points. Soronovsky now with a pipe wrench combination, switches to an arm bar. Hersig comes through, elevates the leg. He's got 2 on the reversal. That's got to be 2 points. Soronovsky around the waist. He'll get himself in trouble if he stays there.
No points awarded yet. Technically, Soronovsky's still in control.
He won't be for long. There's the Peterson roll once again. 2 points. Reversal only. 18-11. Hersig leads. Boy, Gary, let's look back to the beginning of the bout. Don Soronovsky completely dominating Ken Hersig, leading 4-2, getting 2 takedowns, allowing 2 escapes. It's been all Ken Hersig since.
2 points would be a major. He will not get it, but he will get the win. Mike Hersig beats Don Soronovsky by an 18-11 score. The team score, Nazareth 9, Northampton 6. We move to 130 pounds. For Nazareth, Mike Jaskiewicz, a senior, 6-5 on the year, against the very tough Mike Laurie, a junior, 14-2 on the year. Laurie ranked 2nd in the state. Scott, you said at the top of the show, Nazareth had to win 2 of the 5. They've got their 2.
They've got it, and Northampton has dug themselves a hole. In fact, not only did Nazareth win 2 and avoid giving up points, they picked up bonus points as Brad Sillenperry pinned Joachim. Northampton is in trouble right here. Laurie trying to work up into a bear hug right here. He'll come around for the 2. There's the takedown. Not signaled yet. Jaskiewicz still around the leg of Laurie. Laurie having trouble picking up that takedown. There it is.
Laurie leads 2-0. Allows the escape. Jaskiewicz trails 2-1. Takedown. Laurie 4-1. Minute and 13 seconds, first period. 9-6, Nazareth on top. The escape by Jaskiewicz. 4-2.
We mentioned Laurie ranked number 2 in the state. The wrestler ranked number 1 in the state beat Laurie 5-4 in the Bethlehem School District Tournament. In the finals, Laurie took 2nd.
That is Sean Brown that Scott is talking about from Wyoming Valley West.
So Mike Laurie, if he is indeed number 2 in the state, and number 1 is indeed number 1, Mike Laurie not far from being the best in the state. Nice arm drag. Mike Laurie used it very well. A lot of times we'll talk about an arm drag from a standing position. It would be a lot more flashy of a move than that. Mike Laurie just pinpointed the arm of Mike Jaskiewicz and just spun around it. He'll pick up another takedown right here. He leads 8-3. A nice display of takedowns by Mike Laurie.
And now Don Roan says keep him down. 23 seconds to go in the period. So the 4 takedowns get Laurie 8 points. He leads 8-3. He may not be able to keep Jaskiewicz down. There is the escape.
That was a mistake by Laurie, but he takes advantage of it. He picks up another takedown. 5 takedowns in the first period by Mike Laurie. He leads 10-4. He's got to start throwing some pinning holds here.
Jaskiewicz will take the offensive or the top position. No, he's going to take the down position. All right. 10-4, the score. Laurie on top, 130 pounds. Match number 5 of 13.
Bob Welty checks to make sure the score is correct. Indeed, it is. 10-4, Laurie leads.
The escape.
Nice barrel roll by Mike Laurie. Works the arm under the body. Now looking for back points. He won't get them as Jaskiewicz rolls right through him. I've mentioned a number of times it's awfully hard to technical fall a guy on just takedown. Mike Laurie now with his 7th takedown of the match. He's got to convert about 14 takedowns to get a technical fall on nothing but takedowns.
Escape again by Jaskiewicz. 14-7 is the score.
I don't know that I've ever seen a technical fall with no back points being awarded. But Mike Laurie halfway there, less than halfway through the match. There is another takedown as soon as he pops his head and spins behind. He's got the leg of Jaskiewicz trapped. He is indeed in control, even though Jaskiewicz has the leg. And now he has the arm under, went for the back points. He'll step over. Same combination he had before that Jaskiewicz rolled through. He'll get back points here. Bob Welty counts 1, 2, 3. He'll get 2 back points out of this. Now has the quarter Nelson out front with an arm trap. This is a tight hold. Mike Jaskiewicz has to be in some pain under there. He gets out of it. 2
near fall points. Laurie now leads 18-7.
Jaskiewicz in on a takedown of his own. He'll get around behind Laurie. There's 2. He'll try and kill time here, as Mike Laurie is obviously dominating him. If he can avoid giving up points for a good deal of time, possibly avoid a technical fall.
There have been 10 takedowns in this one already. And it's another takedown, number 11. The escape by Laurie, the takedown by Laurie.
Bob Welty snuck over and asked Gene was that 1 and 2 or just a 2-point reversal? We may have a reversal of a decision here.
Just a reversal. So no escape. It'll go down as a reversal for Laurie. Laurie now leads 20-11, I believe. We'll check our score. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 18. Should be 20. They have 22 on the board.
Laurie just got a takedown
All
for
right.
2 more, and now he's got 2 more back points. It's 24-11. Now working a leg and guillotine combination. He won't get it at the end of the period. 22-11.
24-11. Up by 13. So everybody scurrying to their books to count and make sure the score is correct. Points have come fast and furiously here.
Oh, a headlock by Mike Laurie. He may slip off this and give up the takedown to Jaskiewicz. He has not converted it yet. Bob Welty says, now you have.
That's it. That's, he was in one of those no-win situations, Scott, where the next 2 points.
No takedown, says Bob Welty. He was overruled by the match judges. Score now 24-11 once again, but here is the takedown that will end it.
The clock continued to run, oddly enough, during that break.
I don't think it'll matter. I think as soon as Laurie locks it up, that's it right now. That's 26-11. That's a technical fall, and that'll be 5 team points for Northampton.
The clock again continues to run, but as I look over, I think it was 1:11 on there, so it comes at 5 minutes and 39 seconds. We'll be right back. Mike Laurie with a technical fall.
50 years, Walters Pharmacy, predictable personal service you've come to expect. A complete line of Gold Line and Hudson vitamins, brand name and generic healthcare products, and compounded prescriptions. Walters Pharmacy has free delivery and parking, accepts most major prescription plans and MasterCard and Visa, and offers a senior citizens discount. Look for Walters in the Donnelly directory. Walters Pharmacy, making life easier through genuine care since 1937.
Introducing Phil Rizzuto with Money Store Magic.
To help homeowners, we're cutting our appraisal fee and legal fees on home equity second mortgage loans in half. That's 50% off. Low fixed rates. Quick approval for qualified homeowners. We get it together for you. Call the Money Store toll-free. Dial 1-800-LOAN-YES.
When your car or truck looks like this, and you want it to look like this, or this,
Hep Brothers.
when you expect affordable and professional work from start to finish,
Hep Brothers.
when your insurance claims and fleet work are welcome,
Hep Brothers.
where financing is available for qualified buyers of locally owned cars and trucks,
Hep Brothers.
where Twin County's mobile production unit was refurbished.
Hep Brothers.
The way to go is with Terry and Joe at Hep Brothers Auto Center, Lehigh and Poplar Streets, adjacent to the George Taylor home in Catasauqua. Tuesday and Friday at 9 p.m., join Watson Skinner and discover what's happening in the Lehigh Valley on Community Spotlight. That's Tuesdays and Fridays at 9 on TV4.
This week, spotlighting MDA, along with guests, the Chippendales.
You are viewing Twin County Cable 4, your choice for community programming in the Lehigh Valley.
We are back, 135 pounds for the Blue Eagles. Preston Moritz, a senior, 12-2 on the year, taking on Steve Moyer, a sophomore, 6-9-1 on the year. Moritz ranked 6th in the state. Northampton now leads it by an 11-9 score based on the tech fall by Mike Laurie.
Preston Moritz and Moyer have met before, to be specific, in the Christmas City tournament semifinals, where Moritz pinned Moyer. But by the admission of almost everyone that saw the match, he caught Moyer in a move, and it was a much closer bout than certainly a fall would indicate. Moritz definitely a class wrestler, one that hopes to go far into districts and states this year, gets the takedown against Moyer. Gary, by my calculations, I had Northampton leading 15-3 after the first 5 weights. A 12-point margin. Indeed, it is only 2. You've got to figure Nazareth feels pretty darn good to get out of the first 5 weights trailing by just 2 points.
And Scott, Nazareth heavily favored in the next 4 weight classes. In this one, 140, 145, 152. The Blue Eagles could possibly be building up an insurmountable lead at the end of those 4 weight classes. 53 seconds to go. On top, Preston Moritz. On the bottom, Stevie Moyer.
I've got Nazareth for 20 points in these next 4 weight classes. But I've also got them for 3 more later on.
Even talking to Ted Meitzel, he felt Nazareth needed 22 in those 4 weight classes, but I don't think anybody expected the score to be 11-9 now.
Absolutely not. Certainly not a pin by Brad Sillenperry, if a win at all. Brad Sillenperry, I don't think I'm overemphasizing it. Very impressive tonight. Had a great move, showed a lot of strength in that pinning hold. Ryan Uwakeem, certainly no 112-pound weakling. Very solidly built. Those two will meet in the district finals at 112.
Moritz got the takedown and has held on as we are close to finishing period number 1. Looking for some back points. He won't get them. It'll stay 2-0. Moyer will be in the defensive position. Moritz on top. Nazareth's losses to Phillipsburg. They had a couple of wrestlers injured when they wrestled the state liners. And the other loss to North Allegheny.
Everyone loses.
And everyone, yes, loses to North Allegheny.
Although, believe it or not, North Allegheny did lose last week to the team ranked number 2 in the country, Cleveland St. Ed's of Ohio. Moritz with a guillotine combination. He won't convert it on the edge of the mat there.
They are ranked number 1 in the state of Pennsylvania, however. Class AAA, they're 1, Northampton 2, Meadville 3, Waynesburg 4, and Nazareth 5.
Moritz using the freestyle optional start, trying to go for a 3/4 Nelson right off the mark. Instead, gives up the escape, and now will grab a takedown as soon as Moyer comes to the mat. There is the 2. He leads 4-1. Moritz has to start building some points here. There's a stalling call immediately by Gene Wass. He saw that Moyer gave up on the bottom, just sat there, was taking a break. You don't take a break in a match like this and not get hit for stalling. Moritz trying to work now the half Nelson. Now goes far leg half Nelson. Unique combination there for Preston Moritz. If he would have gotten that over, that would have been a tight hold. Riding now from behind with the half Nelson. At a far wrist. Needs to use his hip on the hip of Moyer. Switching back and forth with the half Nelson. Moritz very active on top. There may be another warning for stalling on the bottom here. Moyer not throwing very many moves.
Moritz still in control. He leads 4-1. Stalemate will be called. And the Nazareth fans looking for stalling against Moyer. The next stalling call will be a 1-point call awarded to Moritz.
Moritz again using the optional freestyle start. I'm not sure what he's trying to get out of that, but there is the escape by Moyer. Preston Moritz in a real good position to take advantage of that escape. He had a controlled position. 15 seconds to go. He needs to pick up 2 here if he hopes to pile up some points for a bonus point situation. Goes for the trip. They're going to go off the edge here.
6 seconds, 5 to go in period number 2.
Moritz now with the whizzer against him.
No call as the horn sounds. Moritz leads it 4-2 after 2 periods.
Moritz banged heads with Moyer there as they went to the mat, caught it right in the eyebrow.
Can never quite understand the lack of sympathy by the fans when a wrestler gets injured.
Well, wrestlers never get injured. They just want to take a rest, if you ask any fans. He just wants his 2-minute break, even though he's completely in control of the match, has gotten 2 takedowns, has almost locked up a couple pinning holds. He needs a rest.
Fans just are not sympathetic. We even need a rest sometimes. In fact, Rick's putting the 2-minute clock on us right now. We do want to remind you we got more Sports 4 action coming your way next week. Tuesday night could be the next battle of the heavyweights. We've got Allentown Central Catholic taking on the Whitehall Zephyrs in the Whitehall Gym. We know you watched the first one, so you'll watch the second one. Tuesday night at 10 o'clock. Next Thursday night, Northampton against Liberty. In Liberty Memorial Gymnasium, wrestling again. On Friday night, we have Whitehall taking on a highly improved Parkland basketball team in the East Penn Conference. So great sports coming your way again next week on Cable 4 Sports.
Central Catholic's Billy McCaffrey headed to Duke, I believe.
They mentioned him the other night on the ESPN broadcast.
I heard Billy Packer talk about sweet shooting Billy McCaffrey.
Dick Vitale said something about him too, but I never understand what Dick Vitale says.
Maybe it was Dick Vitale that I heard. I don't watch much basketball. Granby roll by Preston Moritz.
You're too busy answering phone calls about your wrestling coverage.
Nice 2-on-1 by Steve Moyer. He'll ride Preston Moritz for a couple of minutes here. Preston Moritz now on the mat. Steve Moyer hanging around behind. If they stay in this position, look for Steve Moyer to get warned for stalling.
And he already has a warning.
He is staying behind. He is riding parallel. A parallel ride is a stall from the top. And Gene Wass not afraid to call it. There's the escape from Moritz. Tries to work a lateral drop. He may give up a takedown here. Yes, he does.
Makes it 5-4. Takedown by Moyer makes it 5-4 Moritz. Northampton could certainly use an upset.
Little blood in the mouth of Steve Moyer. Now the Nazareth fans upset. Gene Wass insisted on this timeout.
Well, both sides are equally unsympathetic.
Well, Northampton certainly has enough attendance. They have 2 coaches, 3 mascots, and a trainer with a bucket, a towel, a water bottle, instructions, and sympathy, I suppose. I don't know what the individual job of all of them are.
Well, they seem to work. They're back into the center of the mat. Moyer, as he looks at the scoreboard, has to be a bit rejuvenated. 5-4 is that score.
Moritz got a little bit sloppy on a lateral drop attempt on the edge of the mat, caught himself off balance. Moyer, a strong young man, takes advantage of that and throws Moritz right onto the mat, getting the takedown. Moritz now move out front with a whizzer, looking for the escape. He's got to get that arm off his back, possibly throw the quarter Nelson.
He has the escape. He leads 6-4.
Cranks that whizzer now. Moyer's got to look to get up and possibly roll through that whizzer. He's trying to slip it now, bends his arm. Moritz comes out front.
45 seconds to go. Moritz leads 6-4.
Now just a sloppy attempt by Moritz that gets taken advantage of by Moyer. Could be huge for Northampton. They would love a draw at this weight class.
25 seconds.
Moritz now on that same combination Moyer took advantage of earlier, going for a throw. He's got to be careful on that. Moyer almost slipped out the back. 15 seconds. Moritz now locks up.
That should just about do it. 5 seconds to go. It's going to be a Nazareth win. There's the horn. Preston Moritz of Nazareth beats Steve Moyer. Moyer with a great effort. But Moritz comes out with a 6-4 victory. The score now goes back to the Blue Eagles as they're on top, 12-11. And they will bring out their outstanding sophomore wrestler, Danny Matson, 14-2 on the year, as he will take on Alan Hartzell. Hartzell 7-9-1 on the year. Matson ranked 4th in the state. Number 1 in the state at this weight is Moss Grays of Easton. And oddly enough, number 2 is the only one to beat Moss Grays this year, Tom Stallings.
I couldn't figure that weight class out, but Dan Madsen, possibly the best sophomore middleweight, I would say, since Moss Grays, but that's only been a year. But Moss Grays, a once-in-a-lifetime guy. Madsen locks up a half Nelson. He'll get back points. Bob Coletta counting. There are 3 back points coming. Madsen too high to get the fall. Comes back now. He wants to lock up a double trouble half. He's got it locked. He's still too high. He's got to be chest to chest. Nazareth fans see him flat.
Nazareth fans yelling he's flat, but Bob Coletta has the best view of anyone.
Madsen's still too high. He's got to be chest to chest, and he's got to be on his toes. He's on his knees, and he's got hips to chest. He's got to move back, pick up on the head.
He's reaching back to try to pick up on the head.
Applying all his weight, but no pressure. He's got a lot of weight there, both feet off the mat. Now he's getting him close. Now he's on his toes. Just under a minute to go. Plenty of time. They're right in the middle of the mat.
Bobby Coletta has the 3 fingers ready for the back points. 45 seconds. Plenty of time for Matson to work.
Danny Matson watching the shoulders. Now he lifts his head, and he's on his toes. Tries to step over and get a grapevine in there.
Approaching 30 seconds.
What an effort from the bottom, boy. This is tiring. This is going to affect later on in the bout. Now ties up a double grapevine.
20 seconds.
Has the headlock and double grapevine. Now it's close. Now it's close. Bob Coletta right in there. The fans have absolutely no view of this fall.
He'll get 3 back points. Great job by Hartzell to fight it off. At the end of the first period, Matson leads 5-0.
Maybe the best thing that Hartzell did there was stay on his back and not give up any more points. He only gave up 5 points, and it looked like Danny Matson just had his way with that move.
Scott, he had him in that hold, I think, for about 1 minute and 28 seconds.
Yeah, he had him there a long, long time. That's got to be draining on Alan Hartzell. Dan Matson takes the bottom position, looking for the escape, and then the 2. He's got 1. He leads 6-0. Oh, Danny Matson very strong. Didn't take a very good shot, but dragged that leg in. Alan Hartzell now gets taken down once again. Dan Matson, not with a good shot, just had a snag on the knee, and just with strength pulled that leg toward him.
Okay, shoot him again, Danny. Escape by Hartzell gets him his first point of the match. He now trails 8-1.
Danny Matson wants a fresh start. He wants to go out of bounds. Alan Hartzell has no part of that. We'll get the takedown instead.
Hartzell now trails 8-3 as he starts coming back. Boy, Scott, you can't doubt the hearts of these young men tonight. Every time they faced adversity, they have fought to come back away out of it.
Absolutely. It hasn't been one-sided all night, even though we've had some matchups that haven't been particularly eventful. Every match has had an awful lot of wrestling in it.
Escape by Matson. He leads 9-3.
Matson third in the district last year as a freshman with a 27-10 record. You've got to figure him to do an awful lot. He has improved since last year.
Wrestled in the Palmer Township program, and normally those wrestlers are sent to Easton High School, but because of the location of his home, he ends up going to Nazareth, I think only by a block or 2, and he grew up being coached by his father.
Chuck Matson, I know, follows Dan around everywhere. I think he
takes the VCR, the video
permanently
camera.
attached to that video cam.
9-3. They are neutral. 26 seconds to go in the second period. I think both wrestlers expended a lot of energy in that first period.
Absolutely. We mentioned how much energy it took out of Hartzell. Hartzell absolutely backing off here. Maybe get a stalling warning, but now he's working a far leg. 15 seconds. He might get a takedown here.
Would make the match interesting. He's got the 2-point takedown.
He's also got a front cradle.
3 seconds.
He won't convert for points here. There time goes.
No, he gets the takedown, however. And Hartzell now trails 9-5. And creates a little excitement on the Northampton bench.
Dan Matson needs another takedown just to build his confidence again. Just absolutely dominated Hartzell in the first portion of the first period. Just took the takedown and grabbed the pinning combination. He hasn't done that since.
Scott, let's reflect back on the first period again. Which wrestler is expending the most energy in that situation?
It's a lot of energy on both parts, but you have to remember it's negative energy for Hartzell. It's positive energy for Matson. It's got to hurt Hartzell more. No takedown, say the match judges. I'm not sure I agree with that one, but it still gets one, and I'm certainly not one of the top 3 officials in the district, and every one of these guys is.
So the score remains 9-5. So we have had 3 decisions overruled, or 2, I believe, overruled so far tonight.
And that's not bad officiating, that's good officiating.
And again, proves the importance of having 3 guys out on the mat.
Hey, referees can have a bad night just like anybody else, and it might happen in a big meet like this. Boy, you'd hate to get stuck like that. Matson tried to work that snag single again. Instead, works the chest and leg. Has the leg between the legs. Wants to reach over. Now he's trying to spin. Gets a little sloppy there. Got to lock up that other leg. He doesn't want to go out of bounds here. Lock up the other leg and trip.
40 seconds, second period. Make it the third period, 9-5. Matson leads, no points scored here in this period.
There it is. Matson's supporting points inside the circle. As the takedown is recorded, supporting points are the knees there. They're not out of bounds unless 3 knees are out of bounds.
The good news, however, for Northampton so far in these first 2 of 4 critical weight classes is they appear that they will not give up bonus points here in the first 2 weight classes. Although Matson now only 2 points away from a major.
He's got 26 seconds to work some kind of tilt here. And again, thoroughly dominating in that first period. Has shown the ability to turn Alan Hartzell.
20 seconds.
Alan Hartzell must play it smart here. Even get warned for stalling would be fine. Just stay off his back. 15 seconds to go. Madsen working now with a cross-facing cradle. He's got it locked. They're on the edge of the mat. If he takes it straight back, he could convert. With 5 seconds to go, he won't convert. Second weight in a row.
That's it.
That Northampton does not give up bonus points.
Danny Matson raises his record to 15-2 as he wins the match at 140 pounds by an 11-5 decision. Nazareth now leads at 15-11. We move to 140 pounds. For Nazareth, Ross Nunamaker, a senior, 13-3-1. He will take on Rob Davies, a senior, 7-8. Nunamaker heavily favored at 145 pounds.
And Gary, just as important as it was for Nazareth to win 2 of the first 5 weight classes, equally was it important for Nazareth to pick up 20 points or so in these weight classes. They've got to come up with a couple of pins here. Rob Davies tying up inside. Fending off Ross Nunamaker.
Crowd settling down for this particular bout.
They paced themselves to the middle.
Yes, they got very quiet towards the end of the JV contest. Just waiting for this one to begin. They'll come back into the center of the mat in a neutral position.
I had Nazareth figured for 10 points in the first 2 weights of this 4-weight.
It's interesting that on Wednesday night, Scott, Ross Nunamaker, with his pin against Bangor, is the one who sewed things up for Dad's 300.
It must feel good going into a match to be confident enough to have the refreshments waiting in the cafeteria, have the plaque engraved, had everything ready to go to celebrate Ray's 300th win. The celebration was on when Nazareth showed up.
I think one of the reasons that Ray has stayed in coaching as long as he has is because he wanted to coach his sons. Ryan, of course, who wrestled at 103 tonight, is a freshman. And Ross finishing out his senior year wrestling for Dad. Donnie Roan has a young one coming, too.
He's a mean one.
Yeah.
He's a mean-looking one. We've seen him now 2 or 3 years in a row on the sidelines. He was throwing cradles on his cradle.
Again, near the circle. They remain right on the edge, and we'll get a stalemate call or off the mat. One or the other, doesn't matter.
Actually, it was potentially dangerous.
All right. One or the other or the other.
Or the other.
13 seconds to go, first period.
Come on, Rob.
5 bouts to follow. They could get extremely interesting in the last 3. Final 5 seconds now, the first period. Nunamaker leads it 2-0. He will take that 2-0 lead, it appears, into period number 2. got a chance to reflect a bit. Things certainly didn't go as expected in the first 5 bouts, but they haven't quite gone as expected here in the middle either.
Nothing's gone as expected all year. East of Northampton, nothing went as expected. Nazareth Northampton, that's what happens when you get quality teams against quality teams. When a mistake is made, it's really taken advantage of. It's not a matter of just getting a takedown. It's putting a guy in serious trouble. It's a 5-point move instead of a takedown. And that's been the difference here. Ryan Joachim made a mistake, and Brad Perry put him away. It's just that kind of quality wrestling that happens on this level and on the state level.
Nunamaker remains on top. Stalling called against Davies.
I think that was Bob Welty's first stall of the night. District 11 has really cracked down on the stalling on the mat. It isn't blatant to a lot of wrestlers. In fact, I was talking to Gene Wasp before the match, and he had the Freedom Palmerton match. Palmerton on the outskirts of District 11. He called stalling 3 or 4 times, and he said he was the joke of the week up there because they just didn't recognize what stalling was. We've seen stalling called here with very little opposition all night because stalling is stalling. Stalling is avoiding wrestling. It's not working for an escape from the bottom. It's not working out to the side on top.
You made a very good point earlier, though, about the intelligence of a Nazareth Northampton crowd and that they understand the rules perhaps a little bit better than schools that don't have that kind of wrestling tradition, and they just don't understand what stalling is.
I can't imagine 2 calls being reversed anywhere else in the state and being met with less opposition. I'm not sure that they know all the rules, but they understand when something's called one way or another.
50 seconds to go now in the second period. The score remains 2-0 in favor of Ross Nunamaker. He got a takedown earlier in period number 1 and has managed to hold that 2-point lead. Come back into the center.
Oh, there's another potentially dangerous. Saw that knee. Rob Davies taking advantage of that optional start by Nunamaker and just vaulting out, curling his toes under in the referee's position and just springing forward. Nunamaker would do well to go to the traditional starting position here.
And he did. And he did well. 30 seconds.
Every time he started from that optional position, Davies would just spring out and leave Ross with nothing to hang on to but a couple of ankles.
Nunamaker, if he can ride out Davies here, will have the advantage of being on the bottom to start period number 3.
He may choose to go neutral. He hasn't been underneath Davies. Davies certainly strong enough to do some damage from the top. May choose to go neutral.
10 seconds to go in the second period. Team score, Nazareth 15, Northampton 11. We're in bout number 7. Make it 8. No points scored in period number 2. Nunamaker leads 2-0. Scott, the only period tonight, no, we go back to Perry Joachim. There were no points scored in that first period.
A lot of wrestling going on. It's just aggressive wrestling. Used to be in District 11. I think the biggest improvement in District 11, Don Rohn questioning Gene Wass here, now calls Bob Welty over.
And appears to be something about the equipment, about the singlet.
Rob Davies likes his singlet taped together in the back, I believe, and it did come apart. This should be injury time, I would think.
Uniform is certainly injured. No blood.
Maybe I'm misinterpreting a rule here, but
I didn't see them start the clock.
No,
Nobody
I don't
has
think they did. I'm sure exactly what they're doing back there. But I was mentioning the biggest improvement, I think, in District 11 is in big match situations. I think District 11 in the past 5 or 6 years has completely opened up when it comes to a big match. It used to be Easton Peaburg or Nazareth Northampton. Things would be very, very tight, very little wrestling going on. Now you go to a big match, you see the best wrestling.
They'll come back into the center for the final 2 minutes. Nunamaker leads 2-0, and he has decided to take the bottom. And immediately has an attempt at a cradle slapped on him by Davies. Breaks that off.
Davies riding very tough, keeps coming perpendicular to Nunamaker, which is where you need to be to work for back points. Staying aggressive. Gary, I've seen the back of Davies' uniform. I still can't figure out what they did.
Looks like they just simply placed tape on both. Well, I'm with you. I look at it from here, I can't tell either.
Maybe it's a superstition. Who knows? Nunamaker comes out on a hairpin. He'll get the escape. Leads 3-0.
But again, far from any bonus points. Most experts felt Nazareth needed bonus points.
And needed a lot of bonus points.
In these 4 weight classes, and they are approaching the final weight class, and that's Mike Miller, and he's a heavy favorite to beat Shane Warner.
Mike Miller is a pinner. I have very little doubt that Mike Miller will come out with anything less than a pin. He's got a lot of pins rung up already this year. But if that's all they come out of here with is the 15 points, well, that'll negate a big edge that they picked up in the first 5 weights.
And creates the scenario of a lot of shifting of people around in those last 3 weights. Close to a takedown by Davies. Nunamaker fights him off. Off the mat they go. 3-0. Nunamaker leads. 45 seconds to wrestle.
Nunamaker takes a bad shot there, gets caught in the front headlock. I've seen that from Nazareth quite a few times tonight, taking bad shots from far away and getting in a little trouble. Nunamaker now comes up with a high crotch. Had it locked. Nice strength by Ross Nunamaker. Nazareth fans yelling to suck it up, and that's exactly what he needs to do, is suck that leg up. Comes up now between. Davies locks up a figure 4. If Nunamaker steps over the head, Davies could be in a little trouble here.
That's dangerous.
Illegal hold. There's 1 point awarded to Nunamaker. I'm not sure exactly. I didn't see it slip down into his scissors, but he may have been across the nose and mouth of Nunamaker, which would be illegal.
So Nunamaker leads 4-0. And that appears to be the way this one's going to end. Takedown. He gets back points too. No, just the takedown. Could be important. He did not get the. Yes,
no,
he did.
The 2 back points.
He got the back points. Takedown and near fall. And they get the major decision.
Gene Wash just went over to Bob Coletta and said 2-2, and they both nodded their heads. Yes. Boy, what a move. That final score, 8-0, could stand up to be very, very big.
We'll be right back.
Start right. Make Whitehall Auto Parts the most important stop for your car. We're a major supplier of foreign and domestic auto and light truck parts and have one of the largest inventories in the Lehigh Valley. We also provide machine shop services equipped for complete engine rebuilding. We stand behind our products. Make your stop at Whitehall Auto Parts, 2741 MacArthur Road, Whitehall. Open weekdays 8 to 9, Saturday 8 to 4, and Sunday 9 to 4. Or phone 437-4604.
Gus's Crossroads Inn, located on beautiful Old Philadelphia Pike in Bethlehem, invites you and your family to try our all-new dinner specials. Treat yourself to some of our mouth-watering seafood specials or our fresh-cut made-to-order steaks.